If I gave you my love, I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love out of you. You got to treat me good, and I'll be good to you. There's a whole lot of things you and I could do, baby. Beautiful. When you get right down to it, yeah. You're beautiful. And I wouldn't change one thing about you, yeah. Oh, 'cause you're beautiful. Beautiful. And what about the way you love me? And the way you squeeze me. Simply beautiful. You're beautiful. When you needed me, yeah, I was right there by your side. Simply beautiful, yeah. You're beautiful. I wouldn't change nothing about you. Yeah, 'cause you're beautiful. Yeah, when you get right down to it, when you get right down to it, yeah, when you get right down to it, oh. You're beautiful. I don't mind the world knowing about you. You're beautiful. And I don't care what the magazines say. I don't care what the magazines say. You're beautiful.
Peace. This is the Touré Muhammad Show, and I'm your host.
I'm Linda Sissy Perez, your co-host of the show that talks to shakers and movers who have knowledge, experience, and resources to help you do for self. This is a solution-oriented show.
Come have a seat. No need to ask. As long as I have a bowl of bean soup, you've got half.
Welcome everyone to the Touré Muhammad Show, and get prepared to hear about the greatest story ever told. Right about now, what I'm gonna do is tell you all the things that we're into. Okay, once upon a hurry somewhere in the future, we didn't have to worry if somebody would shoot you. Excellence, yes y'all, we all that. Business, real estate, and actual facts. Actually, that's the tip of it. Financial gifts with it. Spiritual advancement, we're here to uplift. We're here to celebrate your success and give it back so everybody and their mama know where to shop at. You like that? I love that. We do too. You can change your condition when you change you. Yeah, so sit back, relax, and let your conscience be free. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Brother Touré. Sometimes I need to listen to me. They help me out.
Greetings, peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is your brother, your friend, Touré Muhammad. We are here for the Touré Muhammad Show. I hope you are excited and happy to be on the top side of the earth. I am. And I am always as pleased, of course, when I have my wonderful co-host, Linda Perez.
Chicken? Oh, we got chicken, turkey.
You taking orders, Linda?
Okay. I'm sorry. No, he just asked to put an order in.
Okay, you got to put in mute then. Tell him you're doing the show right now. Huh?
I'm sorry.
Tell him you're doing the show. It's not open. You're not open yet. You open at 12. So what's going on, Linda? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Feeling good. I'm doing good, Touré. Can't complain. I made my doctor appointment with the young guy that you referred me to. So
I'm glad you called him young guy because he's older than me.
You know, we gotta respect our seniors. We gotta call them young still, but they're young. They're young at heart.
He can kick, boy. Other than that, Touré, he can kick over his head too.
That's good. I need to do that. But everything is good. How about you? I know you've been shaking and moving in that real estate piece. So
absolutely,
how's that going?
Man, of course, it's going well. We're definitely learning in this new market that we're in, and people keep telling me it's different than ever before because of the pandemic. But from my perspective, it's all I know right now. So I'm just rolling with the punches and helping people get acclimated and get some property and sell some property. So, you know, that's moving along very well. I'm going to give a little insight a little bit later on in the show that I think is going to be relevant for everybody, especially people who either want to buy or sell. So make sure y'all listening in a minute. Man, peace to Shaka, Dana, everybody that's starting to tune in, T, Renee. Man, we appreciate you all for tuning in. So we got a few announcements, and while we get those announcements popping, I would love for you all to like and share the show and make sure that you tell a friend that the Touré Muhammad Show is on and they need to tune in and get some of this great information. Linda, why don't you kick off those announcements?
Hold on.
All right, so first of all, we have Brown Sugar Bakery, brothers and sisters. Brown Sugar Bakery is an amazing place, of course, to get your cupcakes, your desserts, your cakes, your cobblers, and all of that. So make sure you get by there. If it's your birthday today, stop by and get a free cupcake on your birthday. It is a wonderful time and a place to get there today. The sun is coming out. It's nice outside. So if your birthday today, outside. Happy birthday. That's right. That's right.
It's beautiful outside because I'm hot inside.
Yeah. I know y'all going to have that window open in a second.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are. Enjoy the nice breeze and the community.
Man, so shout out to Dan's Soul Food and Cafe. We are so excited and thankful to them for being a consistent supporter in our community. So they have the $6 hollers. Find them on 2523 West 79th Street. You can order through Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. That $6 holler got a chicken leg, a thigh, and a thigh, 2 sides, and a cornbread muffin. They're open from 10:30 to 8 p.m. daily. And they are sponsors of Our Black Truth. This is a new Black-owned social media app that you can plug in on your Android or your iPhone and figure out what's going on. So, brothers and sisters, that's where we at with that quick update. And then, of course, we have another update about Sissy's Taco Bar.
Yes, we do. We're always giving out free tacos if you text the word Sissy's Taco Bar. Sissy's with the S and tacos with an S. It's so confusing, and I don't know if we should pick a different word because it's really complicated for the community, Touré. We had a lot of issues on Tuesdays, and every time we get them to text it, it's too complicated for them. So we need to think of a simple word. Also, we have changed our chicken to halal chicken. So that's another update for Sissy's Taco Bar. And we've been getting great reviews, especially on the smoothies. So remember, we do sell smoothies. It's with, we even have vegan options. So we got vegan yogurt, and we use almond milk. So in case vegans would like a smoothie, we have them right here at 1200 East 79th Street at Sissy's Taco Bar inside the Woodlawn. Other than that, today is our happy hour from 4:30 to 5:30. It is Thursday, so you can come get 2 tacos, which is chicken jerk or turkey, 2 for $5, and then street corn is a discount as well on happy hour. So that's our update. Yep. So we're moving and growing. And I appreciate what's in it for the Black media as well, doing our advertisement.
Absolutely. So listen, we're going to pull in Sister Starla Muhammad for a quick second with an update about what's going on at in the final call. There's a story that I want her to give us an update on. So Ron gonna come in here and help me out for a minute. It may look crazy for a minute, but he gonna help me out. But we're gonna bring her in, and he gonna help me with the lower thirds. But Sister Starla, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Touré. Sister Linda, is wonderful to see you both again, and I'm glad to be back with you.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure. Yep, absolutely. We love getting these updates from the final call. There was one piece. Let's get right into it. We got a full show today, so you see me kind of moving fast here.
Yes, sir.
But we have a story I think was very relevant. I believe you wrote it about the British government. I think it was the government and the police combined awarded the minister over $100,000 because of them denying him the right to speak at an event in 2017?
Yes, sir. This is a very important piece out of the UK. And of course, for those who don't know, that for about 30 years, there has actually been a ban on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan imposed by the British government, where he is not permitted to step foot in the country. And so, again, that's a battle that we've been waging for 3 decades. Well, recently, about 4 years ago, there was a community event that a lot of Black folks in the UK they convened what they call the Africa International Day of Action. Takes place in London. The event had been going on for about 3 or 4 years. Our Nation of Islam European region representative, student minister Abdul Hakim Muhammad, and the mosque in London have participated in this cultural event over the last few years. But in 2017 was the first time that the Nation of Islam had the opportunity to actually be a co-sponsor of the event. So, of course, Brother Touré, Sister Linda, when you're putting on events in the city, you've got to get permits, you've got to coordinate with local government, etc. So all of the permits were gotten, everything was, good to go. The night before the event, Lambeth Council, which would be the equivalent of like a city council in a city over here in the States, basically said, well, you can have the event, but Minister Farrakhan, who was actually slated to deliver remarks from the United States, who was going to be beamed to a big screen over in this beautiful park called Kensington Park. But they said, well, you can have the event, but Minister Farrakhan, You cannot beam in his message. And not only that, Sister Linda and Brother Tory, Student Minister Hakeem Muhammad and no representatives from the Nation of Islam were permitted that day to address the event. Now, this is an event put on by Black folks, and it was being dictated to by local government there that we're going to pick and choose who we think should be able to speak. So Student Minister Hakeem said, this is the ultimate, disrespect. You already have banned the minister from coming into the country. Now you're banning him from being able to share words on important topics to our people in the UK. So he decided to file a lawsuit. And so there were about 30 plus believers in the Nation of Islam Mosque in London, as well as 2 local Black activists who decided, we're going to take this to court. And so it was a long process, but they emerged victorious. And what made this such an important story is that for the most part over there, Blacks don't necessarily fight back through the legal system. But the decision was made, we're going to, fight for our rights. There were about 3 or 4 different articles of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of expression. And the articles in the UK are similar to some of the articles in the US Constitution. So they got a legal team to fight the case, and they emerged victorious. And what also makes this unique is not just that they emerged victorious, but that this is going to be basically stamped via the court that from now on, at least in the county or the jurisdiction of Lambeth, in the future, if someone wants to invite the minister to speak, via satellite, that there should not be as much as a battle. So this is a good sign in the sense that at least in the jurisdiction of Lambeth, this has happened. The attorney said that, this is just one of several jurisdictions. So let's say if they decided at a later date to have an event in another jurisdiction, you might end up having to do the same battle. But the fact that we emerged victorious in this battle, the attorney that represented us in the case over there said that, now it is apparent that, folks are not just going to sit back and let their rights be trampled on. So it was a great day. It was a great victory. And not only, it's not necessarily the monetary award, that's part of it, but because the claimants, meaning the Metropolitan Police as well as Lambeth Council, lost the case, they've got to also pay not only their own legal fees, but all of the legal fees of the 34 claimants that filed this suit.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I know this is a different climate over here, and it's a different component with different restrictions or whatever. But I think it has some connotations to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan being banned on social media here. It's absolutely a travesty of justice, and it is an attempt to silence. And what the British, of course, were doing, they wanted to silence a voice that spoke freedom, justice, and equality.
Exactly. And one of the things that Mr. Andre Clovis, who was the solicitor / attorney that was a great big part of the legal team, what he was explaining is that, again, this victory was a big victory, but he also talked about how, in the UK, the British government really does not respect the rights of its citizens, particularly its Black citizens. So he said after this particular case, he had Black British attorneys calling him and reaching out to him, basically saying, now that we've seen this victory, we're going to be more willing to take on maybe some of these tougher cases and not be so timid in the future now that we see that, victory, can be achieved. So, again, this was a big case, and what made it all the more, I think, big in the eyes of our people over there is, again, you're talking about, a very powerful, local government, as well as the Metropolitan Police, who, they took them to task as well, because This is an event, again, that has been going on for about 3 or 4 years, always been peaceful. It's a time for, Black folks in the UK to get together, cultural extravaganza, but also an opportunity for them to discuss topics that are relevant and important to their community. So a great victory. And it was really akin to, the analogy of what we read about in the Bible, David and Goliath. And, David came out in the Bible victorious, and our Black folks in the UK came out victorious against the Goliath of Lambeth Council and the Metropolitan Police.
Man, Sister Starlet, we appreciate you with that update. It's absolutely important that we celebrate these victories, and we appreciate those attorneys for the components that they've put, the fight that they did rather. And shout out to Brother Hakeem over there, our student minister over there, who, of course, was a big part of making sure that happened.
Yes, sir.
Man, so Sister Linda, real quick, because I know with Sister Starlet, we're gonna take a break at 11:30.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to make sure that Linda, you talk about your experience at Gladys's restaurant.
Oh my, woo! Oh, woo! Them biscuits are to die for. I went one day with my neighbor and loved it. Customer service is on point. She greeted us from the time we walked in, came and sat next to us, kind of get engaged. She knew who I was. She's like, "Oh, you're Sissy Taco Bar. Hold on."
What they doing over there? Some construction or something in the background?
So, she enjoyed our vegan tacos, the manager there. And then she said, "We were just talking about your son and how he can do the PO system, multitask, and how you're teaching him." And she's like, "And you guys both come in here today, as we're speaking good things about you." So it's just beautiful. And so then I took my family on Saturday, and it was 5 of us, and everything was on point again. They used fresh salmon to make the salmon croquettes, delicious. Fresh potatoes, you can tell it's fresh potatoes, and you can tell like frozen doesn't get that crisp like fresh potatoes do. Tori, just delicious from everything. My children had the waffles perfect. To the chicken was juicy and not overcooked. The flake was like perfect. The owner, she ran in there and started helping as well, preparing our food. So that's what I love to see. It's a family staple place. It's family friendly. I love the fact that they had a high chair, because we have to get more high chairs in our Black restaurants to think about our children. So that was a plus. I smiled because that's how I feel. Like, we don't have as many high chairs sometimes in our restaurants in the small, the South Side community. It was beautiful. I give it a 10 plus, like from the food to customer service.
And you got me excited when you talked about those. They made salmon croquette with fresh salmon.
Yeah, so it almost reminded me of a crab cake, but it wasn't. It was, oh my God, Tori, I just don't know how to explain it. And then I even brought some to take home so I could just put it in the air fryer and recook it. But I think on the South Side right now, that is going to be my favorite place. And I did put on 2 pounds, so I have to be careful. When I find something I really enjoy, I will keep going back and back and back. So I have to be careful, especially on those biscuits.
And for those who are old school, it is where Maxine's used to be on 87th Street, and then it turned into Campbell's. But that's been a consistent place over the years, off and on, rather. Even Ooh Wee Sweet Tea was there for a minute. But it's right there in Mary Nook on 87th Street.
And they're creating, it's by the old Aldi. So I tell people between Stony and Greenwood.
Sean Michelle's used to be over there too for a minute with the flipping and dipping. Right next door to it, rather.
It's beautiful. Their establishment is beautiful. It's clean. It's bright. And I was just telling my neighbor, like, it's our culture when you walk in, like, you feel us in there. And I love that. And they're also doing the patio in the back. So they were setting up, I think, that Friday when we went. So that's going to be there. You guys will love it. Staff is friendly. And my son got a job with one of the waitress. doing her PO system for an event on May 30th.
That's
So
what's
that's
up.
what's up. It's all about working together in our community and building together.
I know that's right. All right, Sister Starla, I wanted to make sure Linda got that in because she might have to dip because they are drilling in there, and I think they
Yeah.
need to wait. They need to wait until we finish the show, at least until 12 o'clock. But you know, that's above my pay grade right now. So, but
I
anyway,
know, right? I'm in here just doing small repairs. That's all.
right. So, Sister Starla, what else in the final call that you want to make sure that people can hear about within these next like 60 seconds?
Oh. Well, of course, make sure that you subscribe to the digital edition, or of course, when you see the brothers out on the street. I think I've got the physical copy right here, so make sure you grab that. But our cover story is, of course, dealing with what is happening in the Middle East, and that's an important story because it is something that we as Blacks here in this country can relate to in terms of really being dominated by an occupied force. So make sure that you check out the current issue of the paper. We've got some beautiful images and stories in there coming out of Ramadan with regard to the beautiful Eid celebration and prayers that were held at Mosque Mariam. So make sure, again, you subscribe to the Final Call. And of course, you can visit finalcall.com to read many of the great articles that are in the current and previous editions of the paper.
Man, Sister Starla, we appreciate you as always for being a part of the Touré Muhammad show. Brother Anthony sends his love. He just sent greetings on social media, on Facebook. And we appreciate you for giving us these updates. And we want to make sure people know, listen, you can get a digital copy of the Final Call if you text Final Call to 844-773-8392. And wherever you are in the country, right, if you want to get a print copy, to direct message us or send us a message, and we'll make sure that in most cities, sometimes y'all in some of these obscure cities where there's not too many Black folks, we might not be able to get you one in your hand, but we can make sure we get one in the mail for you. So wherever you are, digital, print, physically, mail, we can get it to you. So we're looking forward to talking to you again, Sister Starla. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show.
WIFTBPM.
If I tell them to blow, I keep that metal close. That's how we ride in Chicago.
Alderman Lopez, welcome back to the Maze Jackson Show. The mayor has a very peculiar way she's dealing with this, and I'm trying to understand, why does it seem like we're handling this with kid gloves?
The reason that she's not going after the root cause, which is gangs, the reason she's not calling out the silent enablers, as I tweeted out the other day, is because those are many of the same people that she relied on to get elected. I'm talking about the not-for-profits, those that reach out for grants and try to be the intermediaries in a community to try and bridge some of these anti-violence groups, things of that nature. These organizations that say they're trying to build bridges oftentimes are the ones that are enabling the gang lifestyle and allowing it to go unchecked and not holding accountable the individuals causing the violence in the neighborhoods. Those same partners, which she funds, which she relies on, were unceremoniously all pimping themselves out at a press conference.
Ooh.
Saying nobody said a word about gangs, but what they did say is that we need more money for the programs that we offer to help stop the violence. And clearly for more money to go to organizations that are working against the residents of the city of Chicago.
Alderman, how did y'all approve $37 million to go to one ward for violence prevention? $37 million? I don't think there's been a $37 million investment in anything Black.
When these amendments to the budget and when these programs come before us, and I've asked the last time that these were proposed by the administration, what metrics are we using to ensure that everyone with their hand out was not still enabling gangbangers in the middle of the night? And oftentimes have intervened on behalf of gangbangers, particularly in the Latino community. When you see in other communities, like the Black community, when you start doling out contracts to, say, Metropolitan Family Services, and now they're responsible for doling out to organizations to come into neighborhoods like, for example, West Englewood, contract out to organizations that have no connection to a community, build no bridges to a neighborhood, but get $300,000 to stop violence.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Come on. Damn, what's wrong with this thing?
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay this fine that you've been dodging?
All right. We are back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. James, are you typing?
Nah, man.
Type
Yeah, I'm
fast.
typing. I'm just ready. Oh, yeah, I learned how to type boy back in the day. Back in the typewriter days. That's how old I am.
Man, yes, sir. Me too. Hey, I had one of those Panasonics that I was in college with, and I was high tech because I had a little portable typewriter. That was high tech back in '89.
Yeah, bro. I had mine in '87, '88. I had a Brothers.
Man, yes, sir. That's what it was. A Brothers.
Whiteout.
That's right. That was it. So, man, listen, man, before we get started talking, reminiscing about the good old days, man, brothers and sisters, man, we have an incredible brother. He is an entrepreneur. He consistently is providing value in the areas of business in our community. And he has been, in many different facets, part of helping to support, to encourage, and provide the resources to Black-owned businesses, both in his jobs and in his entrepreneurial endeavors. So we are pleased, man, to have a good brother we are talking to today, James Parker of 1921 Co-working Space.
Yes, right here, 1921 Co-working. This is how you do it.
Yes, sir. I see that, man. I love it. Look at that branding.
I gotta get you a hat. You a hat.
You gotta get me, man. I don't know why, man. A cup, a mug, or something. Bro. I could be
you, man.
The mug up. And, I got man. People don't realize how great it could be to give us product placement here at What's in It for the Black People Media, because it can be here and it can maybe stay on, and somebody else has it on their shows, and all you people got food. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all should be bringing some food by all these restaurants. So, but anyway, Brother James, tell us something about you. Tell us something about you and how you came to 1921 Co-working Space as your current entrepreneurial endeavor, and how it helps our community.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you've known me for a long time. I've been a huge proponent of making sure that small Black-owned businesses are getting recognized, that people can find them, that people can support them. I've been a huge proponent of if, the Black community wants to move forward, it literally can do it itself, as long as we are supporting the businesses. And so
Whoa, wait a
years
minute,
ago,
man. Hold on, slow down, brother
okay.
James. You just dropped a revolutionary bomb, man. Let's make sure people understand what you just said. Say it one more time. You say, if we do it, we can do it ourselves.
Absolutely. I've been a huge, I'm like, man, listen, we do not have to wait. As long as you're waiting for someone to do something for you, you are waiting for someone to do something for you. It's, but when you make a decision that I can do it myself, I mean, the impetus for starting 1921 was my my interactions with a woman who was who was alive when Black Wall Street was destroyed.
Yes.
She was alive, and I met her at an event. This had to be about 15, maybe 16 or 17 years ago, and she touched me. We talked, and I don't know what I don't know what it was, but ever since then, I've been focused on this support of Black-owned businesses and women-owned businesses, right? And now fast forward nearly 15 years later, and now I'm in a position to own my own co-working space, my own incubator, named to honor Black Wall Street 1921, which is 100 years on the 30th that it was destroyed. And the spirit of Black Wall Street was that if I've got it, then you've got it. So if I have land, Tory, and you have an idea for a business, I'm going to give you the land to grow your business, and I'm going to give you the money. Why? Because I know that once Tory builds this business, we're going to be able to create jobs in the community. Tory will give me the money later. And then what Tory does is Tory then says, man, I've amassed a great wealth. I'm going to give my money to 5 people, and I've got some land. And that's how it multiplied to 600 plus Black-owned businesses where there were jobs. No one was in need. There was pharmacies, movie theaters, you name it. Everything that a thriving community needed, they had. Transportation. And that's what I'm trying to convey with 1921 and the spirit. We've got a lot of silos in our community, right? We've got I'm going to do it this way. Well, I'm going to do it this way, but both are all like this. We need help. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way, but we need help. Instead of, hey, let's work together to do that. The whole goal of 1921 was to provide something that wasn't on the South Side. When you Google WeWork, when you go to WeWork and you type in 60628, it'll pop up, I'm sorry, we don't have any offices in that area, right? And you know what? I'm like, that's fine. We'll do it then, right? But so many in our community, and I'm not, whatever, they're like, no, they need to come down here because we need equity. We need equality. I'm like, no, we need to just do it ourselves. If we do it ourselves, guess where that money stays? Right on the South Side of Chicago, right? It stays right in the community. All right. I'm not knocking WeWork. They've set a model that I'm following. But if WeWork comes to the South Side, where do you think that money goes? Right. It goes back to WeWork, back downtown, back to wherever their corporate offices are. We've got to get out of this mindset that everybody needs to have something in the Black community for us to be equal when we can do it ourselves. And that's really the impetus for 1921. Our goal is to help Black-owned businesses get started. Tech startups get trained, funded, and launched, right? That's what an incubator does, right? You have incubators and accelerators. And 1921 is kind of both. We're a combination of a co-working space where if you have a business idea, you can come and network with other entrepreneurs. You can come to classes and learn different things about launching a business. And then if you have a tech startup idea, you can come to 1921 where you're going to get trained, funded, and launched. And here's the key. We talk about, you hear a lot of people on the news saying, we need more jobs in the community. Okay. So, that was the big thing they said, Obama, we need jobs in the Black community. The crazy part was everybody needed jobs. All right. But if you want jobs in your community, you create those jobs. How do you create those jobs? You create the companies to hire the people in the community. The problem is we're so used to saying, hey, Amazon, I'm not knocking Amazon. Hey, Walmart, I'm not knocking Walmart because I shop there, and Amazon, whatever. come into our communities and give us those jobs. Well, all those jobs are minimum wage, right? So that means that people in the community will stay at minimum wage. Okay, so you can't say we need to close the wealth gap, but keep bringing in minimum wage jobs, right? But here's how you grow that.
A cashier at Walmart is never going to make $30 an hour being a cashier at Walmart.
Never.
That's what you're saying, right?
Never.
No matter how much money the company makes.
Exactly. And you notice the company, they didn't bow down to the pressure of paying $15 an hour, right?
No.
And people be like, we got Walmart to break. No, you did not. Walmart was like, okay, we'll do it over a course of time. And then here's what we're going to start doing. What did they start doing? They started eliminating positions.
Exactly.
Right. So even though they're going to pay some people $15 an hour, there is no net gain. They lost nothing. That's because they eliminated about 20 or 30 jobs. So yeah, I don't mind paying you $15 an hour. We're going to get rid of about 30 positions anyway, or more. So there was you won nothing. You gained nothing. You marched for nothing. You ran in the middle of the streets for nothing because there was no net gain.
No net gain.
Here's the deal. Tech startups create greater job opportunities, okay? And higher paying jobs. You've heard of Chewy.com, right? Chewy.com. Chewy is the
James, real quick, tell people where it is again. Some people are just tuning in. They want to know where it's located.
Yeah, 1921 Co-working is located at 110th and Michigan Avenue. 110. So 11001-05 South Michigan Avenue. And we are planning to open this summer. Right now, we have our virtual mail service. That means we can give, if you want to start an LLC or get your articles of incorporation or begin to build business credit, you need a business address. Okay? You do.
That's key right there, brother. Man, say that. I mean, I keep telling you, repeat stuff. See, people don't understand the importance of a business address for building business credit.
Yeah. So, hold on. I'm going to show you something. It's not going to have my number. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? That's a platinum.
That's a platinum card. I see the color of it.
1921 Co-working, because I have a business address. You see what I'm saying? And so the key is what we're trying to do is we're trying to get 1,000 businesses to open up their LLC. We've partnered with two incredible Black women. Yolanda Robin Thomas is an attorney. Candace Cook Bay just got her master's. They are what do you call it? Professionals in helping people get their LLC set up. So they'll get your LLC set up, your EIN number, and your Dun & Bradstreet, which a lot of Black people don't know, and Black entrepreneurs don't know, helps you develop business credit. But what do these companies all look for? A business address. Right. If you use your home address, even if you use your home address as an LLC, you are partially protected. Here's what happens. A good lawyer, depending on which side of the coin, all right, if you're being sued is not, will be able to use your home as a liability. Even though an LLC protects you, if your business is in your home address, a good lawyer, if a customer wants to sue you, a good lawyer will be able to say, oh, but we couldn't tell the difference because she's working from home. Therefore, if she's being sued, yeah, we need your house. Oh, your car is connected to your address too? Yeah. Now you have become a liability, even though an LLC is called a limited liability. You know, it's limited.
It ain't unlimited, right?
Right.
Limited.
And so, So what that means is there are certain things. So it's always better. And the other thing, and one of the main reasons why we're able to offer the business address and why it's beneficial is that when we open this summer, guess what? We have office space. Mm-hmm. Now you can meet with your client. Now you can meet with your customer to close that deal, right? If you're in consulting, the only other place you could go to was Starbucks or a coffee shop. You know, and it was normal because no one, they didn't have anywhere else to go. But it was always weird. I'd be sitting in Sip and Savor, Black-owned coffee shop, and I hear somebody talking about their personal stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've got my, I'm like, whoa, I would never do that. I could never do that. But we'll offer office space now. So now you can meet with them and now it's more professional, right? We've got to get to the point where we start professional from the beginning, right? Not catch up to it.
That's
all right. And so we've got two campaigns, the helping people launch their businesses Get started using our business address. We're actually less than the UPS store, right? We're $30 a month, and you get your mail, packages, you get a professional address, a suite number, and access to office space. You know what I mean? And, I'm not knocking UPS because there's some beautiful Black-owned ones out there, so I'm not knocking that. What I'm saying is the benefits that 1921 is able to offer, not to mention the money stays in the community. You see what I'm saying? That's where we got to wrap our head around it. Now, I talked about our co-working space. That's a place where people can rent offices, meet, and network. The incubator is really going to be the key to 1921 and the community. If you notice, Jay-Z, Nas, Snoop Dogg, Beyonce. Beyonce even says it in one of her songs, "Pay me in equity," because they figured it out, right? A good friend of mine, Philip Lomax, will say, "Hey man, don't give me a percentage. No. Give me some equity. All right, give me equity in the company. You don't have to pay me. Just give me equity." They figured it out. Nas made $30 million off, I think it was Robinhood, because he had equity, right? We get excited when we get shares, right? We think we're getting something. I got shares in here and I got shares in there. And those are great for your difference.
Explain that difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. So equity means that you were in a position and you were privy to the beginning of a tech startup before it went public. That's what it means, right? So that means you're like, hey, I've got some money, and Robert Smith, the brother who paid for the education at Morehouse University,
right? The house,
you know what I'm saying? And he is a billionaire because he owns a venture capital firm, right? And what does he do? He and his team, not him personally, he's got a team now. When you're a billionaire, you're not doing anything. But mostly his team goes to incubators and they find out, or incubators go to them, vice versa. It kind of works in a loop, and they find out what's the next big thing. So we can put some money in it and get what? Equity. A piece of the company. Shares are not necessarily are a piece of the company after the company goes public. But if you notice, Nas, who had equity, made 30 million, right? If you get shares in Robinhood or whatever when it goes public and you use your money, you may make $500. You see what I'm saying? But if you have equity, you're in the millions now when it goes public, and even when it generates revenue.
Let me rephrase that and make sure I understand this in real simple terms for my head.
Sure.
With shares, the people who have equity are actually being paid by the people who are shareholders initially, right? Because and then the shareholders are going to make money as the value of the company grows, but equity, you're making money both times.
Both times. You make money from revenue in the beginning, and then you make money when it goes public.
Gotcha. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? But when you have equity shares, exactly. I try to tell everybody, even when I teach entrepreneurship, it's the equity. Whatever you can get the equity. That's why they say when you own your house, you get equity in your house.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When you lease, you don't get any equity. You see what I'm saying? You get nothing.
Right.
But when you own it, you get equity. And so but in order to do that, you've got to have access to tech startups. You have to have access to an incubator. Well, we're a Black incubator. Man, and that's what we're able to offer. We're able to, right now, we've got 8 startups in our pipeline right now, Touré. 8 of them. 2 of them are projected. One of them right now is projected to bring in about $250 million in revenue.
Wow.
That means we'll be able to create about 800 jobs starting at $40,000 a year.
The startup is going to be $40,000 a year.
Starting at $40,000, because
what do these folks need to know? What do they need to do? What level of education do they need to have in order to get started?
High school diploma or GED.
That's all.
That's all.
They're going to be going and they're going to be learning and actually executing on stuff.
Yes, absolutely. You got to remember, tech startups, everybody thinks tech startups, I got to have an engineering degree or whatever. You don't. Chewy.com started out as a tech startup, but what do they need people to do? Pack the stuff in the boxes.
Right, that's right.
You see what I'm saying? They need people. So we literally have, and we're creating a subscription-based model company that Well, I can't go into it now. Only our investors know about it. You know what I mean? But our equity investors, if you want to be
those are the ones going to have some equity, right?
Right. But here's what we did. But I'm gonna jump in that real quick. But because we own it, right? Because we own it, I can now say, hey, you just need a high school diploma or GED, and we can pay you $40,000 a year. See, here's the key. Wall Street with Michael Douglas, the very first one, is one of my favorite movies. It was the movie that made me want to go into entrepreneurship because I love the way he thought. I love how he thought. It was business all the time. You know what I mean? And he gives this speech about greed is good because greed cuts out all the other bogus stuff. The key is in the Black community, we cannot be greedy. There's nothing wrong with greed. There's nothing wrong with going after something to get that. The key is not to be greedy. We could launch this startup and pay people minimum wage, and that'll be more money for my investors, more money for the person who started it, right?
Are you still looking for investors? We got questions in the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they can email. Obviously, so for legal purposes, I can't go into that. They'd have to email me or call me for that. You can't do a public broadcast of it. I can talk about what we offer, but I can't talk about whatever. So please have them email me or they can call me. But here's the key. Economics says that your payroll should be about 15% of your gross revenue. Okay. So what I did was I took that 15, but most companies will pay probably around 10%. Well, what does that mean? They're going to pay lower or they're going to keep fewer employees because why? Because they want the bulk of the money. Mm-hmm. That's greed. All right. I mean, that's greedy. That's being greedy. Mm-hmm. What I said was every startup that comes to our program, they have to commit to paying 15 to 20% of their payroll to the staff. Now, what does that mean? That means that now we can pay people more money. And I tell my students, I tell my clients, I say, look, you're still going to be a millionaire. Trust me. Once you make millions and millions, it becomes relative. You know what I'm saying? There's no difference. You can't spend 50 million faster than you can spend 30 million. Mm-hmm. All right. You just can't unless you're doing something stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Like realistically, you can't spend 50 million faster than 30 million or 30 million faster than 50 million. The key is that if we want economic growth and we want to close the wealth gap in our communities, we've got to take care of the community.
That's right.
Now imagine 800 people in Roseland, in Chatham, in Austin, making now $40,000 a year. Mm-hmm. In a less than a year, with all the housing programs, we've got 800 new homeowners who have what? Now they've got an equity stake in the community. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Now they've got some equity stake themselves, right? Now they're like, man, I ain't about to go out here and sell no drugs or do nothing stupid. Man, I got a wife, kids. I'm making $40,000 a year plus bonuses. Okay. That's one company. Our other company is a biometric company. All right. This biometric, I can't even go into it. It's so dope. But it's so dope. Ring Doorbell is a kind of a biometric company. So it's something like that. So I can't even go into it. It's so dope. But it will literally bring in our projected revenues after meeting with some economists and whatever. It's about $350 million the first year. That will allow us to create about 900 jobs starting at 40,000. So between two companies, we can create 1,700 jobs paying 40,000 a year starting. That's 1,700 more Black folks on the South Side and West Side making nearly $50,000 a year starting. And that's where we got to get. No company's going to do that. Yep. I mean, you've got people with degrees hoping to make 40,000 a year coming out of college, right? But that's what the industry says, right? Oh no, you got to need a degree. No, you don't. That's why I tell you about. We can literally do it. 1921 has the ability to literally, with all 8 startups, create about 4,000 jobs, and those are the ones with a high school diploma or GED. If you got your degree and you're able to do other stuff, and you're going to be making more. But if we keep people at minimum wage, they will never grow. I did the projections at 40,000 a year in 2 years plus bonuses, they would make nearly 100,000 a year. It would take someone working at Walmart nearly 6 years to make that amount of money.
Come on.
So imagine now we take that young sister who's killing it at Walmart. The only reason she's at Walmart, she didn't finish college. Maybe she had to take care of her mom and dad, whatever, but she's at Walmart. Right. We hire her In 2 years, she'll make what will take her 6 years to make at Walmart. Because Walmart doesn't really, unless if you're a cashier, you're not working full time, right?
That's right.
And you're not making $15 an hour yet. If you notice what happened, all of a sudden, all these companies, oh, hey, we'll pay you $18. Just come back to work. When people are like, if you should have done that in the first place. Now you're mad that they won't come back for peanuts. Now you're mad that they won't come back after they realize, whoa, if anything like a pandemic happens again, we're stuck.
Exactly.
I'm messed up.
And the pandemic has made it, man, people have now become accustomed. It's been stressful in many ways, but some people have now become accustomed to a life of leisure.
Yeah.
They get money from different places now, from different, bailouts and relief. And they done found a couple of ways to hustle. And they like, wait a minute. Maybe I don't have to go back to Walmart.
Right. Well, see, that's why
Chipotle. I can hustle like this.
I'm telling you. Well, that's why we want to help people start their LLCs. Hey, let's get a legit business going. Part of when you sign up for an LLC with us, when you sign up to use our business address, we're going to be offering entrepreneurship classes as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's one. The key is get that LLC set up. Okay, get the business address so you can start developing business credit. So that and then going through our free entrepreneurship training, so that when it's time for you to launch that business, what do you have? You've got business credit, you've got some training behind you, and now you're ready to launch that business.
Now you're ready to go.
See, we too oftentimes we jump into stuff and we're not prepared. And I get it. I'm anxious. All right, I'm anxious, but we can't be that way. I'm trying to bring a new paradigm shift to starting businesses.
It's the right foundation
and helping Black people. Yes, and helping Black people get equity in startups. We've got 8 of them. And
James,
our system,
man,
the way we have it set up,
we got to close out this segment. Right. We got to close out this segment, man. But tell people how they can get in touch with you. Tell them the website. And, man, we appreciate what you're doing. And, of course, we're here for you, man. We're Team 1921 co-working because of the vision and the mission that you have.
Now, I've been waiting to get on your show, man, for a minute. When I got that text, man, I was so excited. And then I had to change it. I was almost in tears.
That's what's up, man. Man, I appreciate you. Hey, we got to go. We got a break. We got to go to this break, though, man. But James, we're going to bring you back on. We're going to bring you back on. We love you and appreciate you.
Can you give out my number?
I got you. Yep.
Yeah. Give out my number to whoever. That's great.
WIIFTBPN. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. Sunshines, if you didn't catch the last page in the Book of Dawn, here's what you missed.
So you found that, but you also, during those times, made a conscious decision to create a base for yourself outside of the Isleys or the great artists that you tour with. And from that, the Mo Fitz Project was born. Can you tell us how and why you did the Mo Fitz Project?
Let me tell you something. I had been touring since I was 17. And what happened was Eve, your girl Eve, was doing different events around town. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was right on 47th Street.
I think it was Blue 47.
Yeah, one of those spots. So Eve was doing something with them. So they were like, we're hiring bands. I was like, I'm going to put something together and go play locally. Let me do that. And through that situation from Eve, the Mo Fitz Project was birthed. I was like, oh, okay, this would be great to actually come home and put quality guys together and make music locally outside of the tour. I just found another joy in that. And crazy, remember Terrence Kane came up with the Mo Fitz.
Oh, did TK? Yeah. Rest in peace.
Please, Terrence was like, you need to call it the Mo Fitz, Reese E. Mo Fitz. Use your name. This is how that name came about. It was Terrence Kane and my girl Eve Bridgeworth. She was the launching pad for that. And then she would hire me to do different events. And she started hiring me to do weddings and stuff she was doing. And then it just kind of birthed into that.
Don't forget to tune in weekdays, 9 a.m. to the Book of Dawn from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Roll Tide, y'all. Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
Hey baby girl, if you're thinking it's that same dude, this ain't that same dude that tried to talk to you. I'm older now and my conversation's alright. What you wanna talk about? Good seeing you tonight. I compliment you on your hair, your outfit, and your smile. I know you're tripping cause you haven't seen me in a while. But I'm older now, and I know more now. Don't you go nowhere, cause I'm ready, girl. I know I played some bogus games with you, girl. I wasn't ready, I wasn't a man for you, girl. I'm older now, I changed my ways on you, girl. I'm ready, girl. Baby, I'm grown now. I ain't another boy playing childish games. I wait up to a young
All right. We are back, brothers and sisters, with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. And we are pleased to have on another fantastic guest who has some incredible, important, and vital information to give to us today. Brothers and sisters, obviously, you know that there's always been, for a very long time, a health crisis in our community. You already know that even the pandemic exacerbated and exposed how critical it is for us to have good health and access to good health care. And so when we heard about this, we were very concerned that there's a possibility of a major hospital on the west side, West Suburban Medical Center, closing. And so we have on today a longtime nurse. She's a nursing director here. I'm there at West Suburban Medical Center, Miss Sylvia Williams. How you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure. And, we got a call from one of our people, and we wanted to get you right on to talk about something that is affecting really all of us, no matter what side of town that we live on. So first, let's give us a little background about who you are. I think we have something in common. I was young and saw some segments of was it Julie, and the black female nurse, and I was like, who is this lady?
Right.
We have black nurses on TV, and it was it was a little bit before my time, so I was watching some reruns of it. But tell us about why you became a nurse and your evolution there at West Suburban.
Well, yes. I've always wanted to be a nurse. And so I got the idea from when I was watching those TV segments of Julia on the TV. She was actually the first African-American nurse on a TV series. And so I watched other medical shows as well. And I was like, God, I really want to go into the healthcare field. So as I went through the parochial school system, when I graduated high school, I said, well, I really want to be a nurse. So I thought, well, maybe I should be a PCT first, just to make sure that I really could stand blood and see sick people and things like that.
What's a PCT?
So it's a patient care tech. So back in the day, it was called a certified nursing assistant. So I worked as a nursing assistant for a few years, and then I graduated from DePaul University into nursing. And my first job was at Loyola, and I stayed there 26 years. And then my dad got sick. And I've always lived here on the west side of Chicago in the Austin community. And my dad lived in the Oak Lawn area. So when I had to transition him to live with me was my first contact with West Suburban. I said, wow, I've been on the west side of Chicago we moved on the west side in 1967 and had just never ventured into West Suburban. Loretto was there. That was the closest hospital. But my dad had a chronic illness. He came here, and when he came here, he had such excellent care. There was a more diverse patient population here versus where I worked at Loyola. I saw a lot of diverse healthcare workers, and I was like, wow, I've been missing out. I could really
Wow.
probably just start my career in my own community. So I applied here on a whim, and it was fate. I ended up being here. Unfortunately, my dad did pass on in 2006, and I got hired on here in 2007. And so since here, I've been here for the last 14 years, and I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth. Of course, the pandemic did hit our hospital really, really hard, especially in the West Side and the Austin community. Right when COVID started back in 2019, we really had to open up a COVID unit here. And so we really stretched our staff to the end. So now we're on the rebuild. West Suburban is a safety net hospital. And as you probably saw last week, Governor Pritzker was here doing a press conference. The Black Caucus passed a bill where safety net hospitals, in the Black and brown communities and Asian communities will be hopefully getting more funding so we can put into our hospital. So we're very excited that that bill was passed and hoping that West Suburban could be on the receiving end of those funds.
Man, that's excellent. And so there's no guarantee. There's been no statement of commitment to make sure that happens, right?
So once the bill is passed, then there's an implementation phase. Right. We are a safety net hospital, so all safety net hospitals are guaranteed funds. We don't know what that amount is. I can assure you the West Suburban is not closing. Our owner's pipeline has been very committed to growth in our community, recruiting more physicians to come on board. We're recruiting actually more staff. They're putting a lot of money into the hospital in terms of upgrades and increasing our presence in the community. We have a lot of more work to do in terms of reaching out to the African American community and our western suburbs. And so we're suited well to do that. Leapfrog is one of the it's a national hospital rating system that has graded us as a B. We were an A, but we're a B now. So we're looking forward to going back to a grade of an A. Our ED sees about 40,000 patients through the emergency room. That's just as much as Mount Sinai.
What's that per year?
Yes, a year. 40,000 people come through our ED. So we're able to see those patients, get them into our inpatient units, refer them out to different services if they don't need to be added. We have a family birth unit that we're number 3 in terms of maternity wards in the United States. So the number of births that are coming through, we have 1,200 babies a year that get born here at West Suburban. So West Suburban is very, very busy. We have centers of excellence in orthopedics, stroke, chest pain, bariatric surgery. So we're on the move. We're just like an academic medical center, but we're not tertiary.
Right. That's excellent. So, you got Austin, you got Oak Lawn. Are those the only immediate areas that you serve? I'm sure people are still coming from a little bit further away.
Absolutely. We have patients coming from Oak Park, River Forest, Maywood, Broadview, further out suburbs, because we have a very large primary care network, and some of our physicians see patients that were working in other see patients that live in other areas. And so those patients are committed to their physicians. So if they need inpatient services or clinic services, they're coming back to West Suburban because they're coming back because of their physician. Everybody wants to be able to see a physician that they can trust, that can take care of their entire family from birth through geriatrics, and get the services that they need here at our hospital and not go to maybe the nearby hospitals that are in their neighborhood. So we have a lot of patients that are coming from not just Austin, but from neighboring western suburbs.
And obviously, been around for over 100 years. The track record is there. You probably have been taking care of some families, and it's the elderly and the grandchildren and everybody coming in. It's so important to feel comfortable and build a relationship with your physicians. I think it's the same principle like with the police department. The more that you have familiarity and know the people who are in your community providing services, the more the less distrust there is. And so that's just absolutely important.
Right.
So with this bill, right? What is the timeline? Is it something that needs to be passed immediately so those funds can come? I know you say you have the support mechanisms that even if it doesn't come, is what I'm hearing you say, that the support will still be there. But with the institution that's serving that large amount of people on the west side of Chicago, then it definitely should be some taxpayer dollars going to making sure that it has everything, that you have everything that you need over there.
Right. So we haven't been given a timeline. I think what the governor mentioned last week is the bill was passed. So the Black Caucus is anxious to implement that. So I will resume over the summer, over the next couple months, we will be hearing the finalization of that and what those dollar amounts will look like. He's been very committed. I think all of the stipulations that were in the bill, he did pass, which was very surprising to the Black Caucus, and they were very excited. If you look back at that video press conference last week, there were different leaders from all of the different caucuses and the representatives of each committee that were excited that the bill was passed. So I know they're not going to stop now. They're going to kind of keep forging ahead to make sure that we can get a better timeline on it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be this year, I would presume. Once those bills are passed, they have to go through a vetting process and where the funds are going to come from. But he did identify that that the funds would be coming. We just haven't been given a timeline of that.
Okay, excellent. And I know you mentioned this, but can just talk a little bit more about the importance and the value that you all provide. I know you have the accredited centers, right, for stroke, chest pain,
bariatrics,
and orthopedic, right? So
geriatrics.
Talk about those in relationship to our community and why those are, extremely important.
Well, especially with our maternity unit taking over 1,200 babies, we know that infant mortality across the country is huge. And it also has impacted us on the west side. We have a lot of patients who are coming in who don't necessarily have primary care physicians. So they have hypertension, diabetes, chronic renal failure. We have a huge patient population of patients that are on dialysis. So they're coming here using our emergency room as their clinics. What we really need to do is to have West Suburban be more present in a community clinic so those patients can use the clinics versus the ED. Our ED is, like I said, they see over 40,000 people. That's a lot, especially if you're coming because you don't have a doctor for hypertension. So those centers of excellence in our clinics, we want to really market that to our neighborhoods to let them know that they can get an appointment in these clinics to see a physician. We have residents and interns. We have a family medicine program that's very vibrant, that's waiting and able to get patients, get them quicker appointments, help them with the preventive and their maintenance healthcare. I think West Suburban is a best kept secret. I think because we've been on the west side and we haven't, been in the media a lot, or, we see our fair share of gunshot wounds, just like Stroger and Mount Sinai. But I think in terms of the excellent things we do, just has not been promoted as well in marketing. So those are the things we need to do. We're reaching out to our parishes. We're reaching out to our schools. We have nurses that participate in health fairs just to educate not only the Austin community, but the nearby western suburbs. So we're doing more of that so we can get our footing out into the community to help our patients.
Man, let these young people tell it. All you gotta do is get on TikTok. Y'all better put some videos on TikTok.
Right. We should do that. We have our own TikToks when we celebrate Nurses Week in hospital.
Be careful. You gotta be careful with that. Make sure you're listening to your advisors, because who was that doctor that, or I think it was a dentist that was roller skating while he was taking care of a patient.
Right.
He got a lawsuit, I think, because of
that could be a wrong impression.
You gotta stay compliant.
Right. So I know one other thing that we do, we do have a patient advisory family conference, and we have family members that are on that give us insight into what we can do better, how we can better serve the community. So we're always actively listening to the community, trying to figure out what we can do better to serve them. So we're very committed and dedicated to that as well.
That's important. That's absolutely important. And what is the address of the medical center?
It's 3 Erie Court. It has an Oak
Mm-hmm.
Park address. We're Oak Park's on one side of the street, Chicago's on the other. So it's 3 Erie Court, Oak Park, Illinois, zip code 60302. But right across the street at Austin and Ontario, we're on the Chicago side. So we have the best of both worlds. We're on the Oak Park side and the Chicago side.
Absolutely. And so, obviously, for people who may be concerned about just basic health, right? What are some things that someone can do? You know, COVID, of course, has, I think, realigned people's thoughts about making sure they're doing as much preventive stuff to not even get a cold, basically.
Right.
So what are some of those things that people can do to, quite frankly, keep themselves out of the hospital?
In terms of COVID?
In terms of COVID and just overall health, what are some things that people can take responsibility for and strive to do much better?
So I think first off, patients need to find a primary care physician, someone that they trust, and begin with that overall health maintenance and wellness. That's the first thing we could do. We have a lot of specialties. We have PCC clinics here on the campus here that's open till 10 at night. We have PCC clinics in Austin and Lake. So go on our website and see where those clinics are and where those physicians are. We have the Cancer Center in River Forest. So if there's someone that's concerned about breast care screening and those things, we have the Cancer Center there. We have physicians that will you can use as family medicine or internal medicine to get you those screenings, those annual things that you need to do. And then once you get into the clinics, you'll be steered into the specialty, whether it's diabetes, whether it's hypertension, whether it's cardiac, whether it's pediatrics. We don't have pediatrics here, but we have an affiliation with Children Lurie. So if patients present to our ED, we refer them out quickly to the pediatric center that can best manage those patients. Our stroke patients come here. You know, stroke is a huge diagnosis in the African American community. People have hypertension and don't realize that having a high blood pressure puts you more at risk for a stroke. And so you need to know those things about diet and weight and keeping the appointments with your physician so that you can have better health, so you don't get to those points where you might have to see a specialist for stroke. So we have all those preventive things. So I think the best thing is for people to get a primary care physician and then look on our website, and we have tons of services that patients just really just don't take advantage of.
Man, I think.
And in terms of COVID,
that's important.
You know, we do have a lot of COVID education on our websites. Everyone needs to pretty much continue to wear their masks, social distance, and a lot of those restrictions are changing with the CDC. So just really look at the website to determine what it is that you feel is safe for you to do.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna keep a mask with me for a while.
Right.
Personally, man, we appreciate you coming on and giving us these important updates about what's happening. I think that what you all are doing to do more outreach is so critically important, because it is I think our community, we wait anyway.
Right.
To stuff is an emergency before we focus on it, especially, the women, you all do a little bit better than us, but especially the men who, we'll go with aches and pains for years before we, try to see what's going on, and we attribute it to some old injury in football, or, we thought we was a street fighter and boxing on the street or whatever.
Right.
But I think that, what you said is so critical, getting in and knowing your body and monitoring what's going on and having those tests so that you can stop stuff. I did have a little scare during the middle of last year where my blood pressure started, getting up there. So, so I had to change some things, and, so
Right.
now I'm monitoring on a consistent basis, and I have to return a call to my physician now because she hasn't seen me in 2 months.
Right.
So she's and I appreciate that. Right. So, you want your people reaching out to you. Like, okay,
Right.
where you at right now? I haven't heard from
Right.
you. So I haven't told her that because I've been monitoring it, that it's not bad right now.
Right.
But she needs to know that and make sure nothing else is happening.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So, Man, we appreciate you. Well, definitely love to have you on if there's any updates, any things that's happening, any health
Absolutely.
tips you want to come on and provide for folks, and and just keep things working as you have been over there at West Suburban Medical Center. Now, everybody's moving away from hospital, right? It used to be West Suburban Hospital back in the day.
Right.
Now it's
Well,
West
it's still
Suburban
West
Medical
Suburban.
Center.
It's
Okay,
Medical Center, yes.
all right, all right. So, Nurse Sylvia Williams, the nursing director over at
Yes,
West Suburban Medical
West
Center.
Suburban.
Tell people the website and that they can go and get some of the information that you were talking about.
So it's www.westsubmc.com. If you Google West
WestSubMC.com.
Suburban, you'll actually get their website. I'm used to my email website, so I might not be quoting it
Okay.
as best I can. But if you just Google West Suburban Medical Center, you'll see the website, and then you can see physician services. And then, of course, if you want to get a position here at West Suburban, we're hiring. We always like to hire from within our community, talented nurses and PCTs, and we have the whole gamut that we're recruiting on here at the hospital.
Okay. So people can start from not having any experience and go through. You have a school you filter people through. How does that work if people want to get into the field?
So in terms of nursing, you're coming from most of your accredited nursing programs. BSN preferred, but we do take associate degree nurses. So anyone that's licensed and registered on the state. PCTs have to be certified on the registry. So on the registry, they can go to any accredited CNA program. Triton and Morton Grove, all of those have CNA programs. Or phlebotomists, there's different phlebotomy programs. So any other health sciences in the colleges, if people are interested in healthcare, those are the fields that they need to pursue. And then they'll find what their specialty is. And once you have those credentials, you just apply on the website. We do on-site interviewing now because of COVID. We were doing Zoom interviews, but now we're bringing people in to have them interview live with the manager, see the staff, so they can show them the commitment that we have to working here at the hospital, and also for them to see the facility. A lot of people don't have an idea what West Suburban looks like, and actually probably don't even know where it is most times because it has the Oak Park address. So that's pretty much what we do. So when you go on the website, you can go on the website for clinical services, and then also there's employment opportunities as well.
Can you break down some of those other careers? Because I think the average person, we just know doctor and nurse. But break down some of these other positions you mentioned.
Okay, so there's patient care techs. Those are like your CNAs. You have phlebotomists that work in the lab, and those are people that draw your blood. You have radiologists who are on the units, and they have degrees as well, where they're doing your x-rays and your CT scans. You have pharmacy techs, people that are interested in going into pharmacology, but they have, they're going to school and then they want to be a pharmacy tech. They can work in our pharmacy. We have unit secretaries. Those are the key people at our desk, our receptionists. Those are the first greeters of the hospital that the patients see and families see. So there can be unit secretaries. We do have electronic medical systems. So we have IT, people that are interested in IT. We have electronic medical record where they're always, looking for assistance there. ED, they have their EMTs, your ED techs. You have your ICU nurses. So we have pretty much the whole gamut of any typical health system.
Man, that's wonderful. Do people in general kind of find their place in one, or do people sometimes bounce around from one to the other till they find their place, or do people do multiple things?
No, most of the CNAs, if they're coming and they're interested in nursing, they'll focus on one unit. But once they go through nursing school, they find out what their specialty is. So their specialty might be ED, their specialty might be ICU, or their specialty might be, hey, I want to stay in cardiac. So when you're in nursing school, you kind of figure out what your specialty is. Most people pretty much start on your internal medicine units. If you're already a phlebotomist or a radiologist, then you're looking at those hospitals to see if they have any openings, and then you apply to make sure that you're a right fit for that particular position. Everyone usually has a dedicated unit, so people just don't float around per se. Everybody has a home that they go to in terms of a particular department.
Man, that's beautiful. That's interesting. So this is my last question. And
Uh-huh.
these things that I'm always fascinated by the things that people do. And I guess I'm a writer by nature and an observer. And the talk a little bit about the mental capacity, because when you in a hospital, of course, you're having a tremendous amount of just regular stress is regular, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with
Right.
people like you mentioned. You did people from gunshot wounds to, somebody got a hanging toenail, right? That's causing them tremendous pain. And the ability to be able to assess, okay, we have to focus on this because this is crisis, and this one can be a little bit later, right? Because sometimes I think people, especially in the emergency room, get offended when they see somebody going before them. But dude, you don't
Right.
have the same issue that this person has.
Right.
So talk about that mental capacity that you need to be able to deal in that stressful environment.
So I think most of us, I would say 99.9% of us that went into healthcare really want to put the patient and the family first. So we come into this game with being caring and compassionate and not taking it personal when a patient, uses profanity at you or they're upset about something, because first and foremost is the patient. And we have to make sure that the patient feels comfortable and safe in our environment. So we don't take it personal when the patients are upset. We put the patient first. We do our best to apologize, irregardless of whatever that issue is. Um, and that's what we're dedicated to. All of our staff, some of our staff have been here 30 and 40 years. And so they're committed to the patient care, to knowing that we need to serve the patient. And so if you put the patient first in everything you do, you never do anything wrong. We don't expect to get gratification from the patient. We need to get gratification for what we do for the patient. And if you always put the patient and the family center and foremost, you'll never go wrong in healthcare.
Man,
You'll
that's
never go
beautiful.
wrong if you put the patient and the family first.
Well, man, I thank you for the service and the work that you do. And my another part of my life is I am a licensed realtor, and one of the things that we were just talking about is some of our heroes in the community, and nurses are absolutely heroes in the community. And whatever we could do to help and support that, we're appreciative of that. Consistent work that you all do, and sometimes thankless by the patient, and I know a lot of times they are thankful as well. So
Right.
hopefully the ones that are thankful can outweigh and be more remembering than the ones that aren't, and
Absolutely.
you keep focusing on helping those folks regardless of their attitude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're dedicated to doing.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Man, we appreciate you. We got to go to our break and close this segment, but we thank you for coming on and talking to us and sharing
Thank you for
your
having me.
work as a nurse. Absolutely. Nurse Sylvia Williams, the nursing director at West Suburban Hospital on the west side of
West
Chicago.
Side. All right.
All right,
Have a great day.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Youth events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black youth members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black youth-led organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Loving you has always been easy because it's true. I would not believe if someone would have told me you would come along to reveal my soul, cause I was done with love, my heart had grown cold, so cold. You had good energy, exactly what I needed. You walked in my life and placed the joy where was needed. Not a mirage, what I feel for you. Put that on God, girl, I'm loving. It's easy. It's easy to love. Easy to love. Easy to love. Said it's easy. It's easy to love. Easy to love. Oh yeah. Loving you has always been easy 'cause
All right. We are back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. There she go. I'm about to say, where you go? All right, so listen, brothers and sisters, we got a great guest. Now, Chef, turn your camera long ways. You about to go somewhere where you can sit? I can't hear her. Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm headed to a. All right.
Where you at? You in the kitchen right now, huh?
Yes, I am.
All right. So while you get situated, we're gonna tell people a little bit about you. So, what's going on with your camera? Can you turn it long ways? You're sideways now. Try it the other way. Okay. Do it. Do one more. Do one more turn. Your camera should be horizontal, but it doesn't switch. It makes you sideways.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me turn off it's locked. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. There we go. There we go. We need you to fill out that camera. So, and then let me go over here and do this here. So, listen, we are so excited. Ron about to come and help, I think. He see what's going on there. So, brothers and sisters, man, this is a incredible entrepreneur, business owner. I met her a few years ago when she was rolling in the pink mobile. She was rolling in the pink mobile, helping folks get some great food at an outdoor food festival. And the response from the people and the level of excellence and care and her professionalism just has always stayed with me. So, and I want to ask you about this. We have Dr. Cesare Rollins here on the Touré Muhammad Show. So tell us about this doctor.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me on the show. I'm excited to be a part of this. So with the doctorate degree, I was in the business management field prior to joining the food truck industry, and I I just knew that I was going to be, strictly business, and life happened to where I got sick with celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease.
Mhm.
And,
Come to your
I
right
kept
a little
saying,
bit. Move to
it
your
was
right a
certain.
little bit. Move the other way. Yep. There. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's almost center right there. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I had an autoimmune disease, and it was difficult for me to find food to eat.
Uh huh.
And I was like, someone needs to open up a gluten-free food truck, and it just so happened to be me. So it was something that was going to be a hobby, and it just took off, and it's just been going from there.
So tell us about this. How did being gluten free help the autoimmune problem you were having?
So I can't eat any wheat, yeast, barley, or oats. And so that triggers the effects of the autoimmune disease. So basically, if you have irritable bowel syndrome, you can have rashes, you can have hair loss, you can have hearing loss, I have like a whole gamut of things that were affecting my health. And so by switching over to a gluten-free diet, that lessened the effect of what was going on with the celiac disease.
Wow, wow. And so, do people? How did you had to get diagnosed? Are there people that go through life not knowing that that's the issue they have? And how prevalent is that?
It's very prevalent. Initially, when I was first diagnosed, I was pregnant with my daughter. I was 3 months pregnant, and I was just miserable. I was on bed rest. I was having all type of issues, and so it wasn't until my primary doctor was like, "Hey, let's test you to see if you have a gluten allergy," and so it came back positive. So most people with my condition, uh, they don't know until they start having triggers like a bloated stomach, always tired, restless. Those are some of the things, the initial triggers. What I have found in my research is that a lot of times in the Black community, we're often diagnosed as diabetic before we'll get diagnosed with autoimmune disease, which is
Mm-hmm.
diabetes is an autoimmune disease. So basically, um, having an allergy or intolerance to gluten can trigger other things. It can lead to fibromyalgia. It can lead to cardiovascular disease. It can lead to kidney disease. It can lead to diabetes. So there are so many other different things that having the allergy can lead to, if not taken care of over time. So one of the things that I found is in my research is that a lot of people who have pulled away from gluten, they have a decreased the diabetes has decreased impact on their diet or their lifestyle. So those are one of the major things that I talk about when I teach. Because sometimes I go and teach classes for the American Heart Association and a couple of
Mm-hmm.
organizations, and those are some of the things that I talk about changing the diet, and that will lessen the effect of those other diseases that are more prevalent in the Black community.
Wow, that's key. That's so important. And so I love the fact that you had a problem and you began to work through and create a menu. And so, for people like me that don't think I have any issues with gluten, but I just saw good food, right? So you've blended that health component of being gluten free with just having delicious food that people enjoy.
Right. So, and that was one of the things. So, I spent the bulk of my career in the food service industry trying to change the mindset of of our customers to show like, hey, gluten free doesn't have to be disgusting. It doesn't have to be, bland. It has flavor. It's seasoning. And so, all we've done is taken. We use organic products. We don't use any processed food. So, like for instance, the salt that we use in our food. We don't use any table salt. We use kosher or pink Himalayan salt. With the sugar, instead of using a regular white sugar, we'll use sugar in the rock. Those are untreated sugars or
Right.
not processed sugars. So those are just easy switches that we can do, and it makes it gluten free, and that's it.
Man,
Oh,
that's
and so
wonderful.
and let me back up again. So and I'm going to back up a little bit. So gluten free is, so foods that are naturally gluten free are meat and vegetables. It's not until you start to add spices and different seasonings that it becomes gluten.
Really? Okay. Okay, let's break that
Yep,
down a
or
little
if you
bit
don't
more,
like
cause
eating like straight.
uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just my mindset. It was the only thing I thought had gluten in it was wheat, right, and meats and breads rather. But you're talking about. So I thought the meat was gluten when you mentioned it earlier, but you're saying when you put the spices on there. So are there certain ones you can or cannot put on to keep it gluten free?
Yes, so we use so before I was diagnosed, I was heavily using like McCormick seasoning. McCormick seasoning has yeast in it to prevent the seasoning from caking. So you know when you try to pour it over your food and it gets stuck, that's the caking and that's the yeast that's preventing it from doing it. So we switched over to a company by the name of Badia. And Badia has certified gluten-free spices that we use in all of our products that we make. And so, and we use natural herbs and yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Wow. Wait
And
a
when it
minute.
comes to the flour, like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So when it comes, so we do sell fried food. So when it comes to the fried food, we use masa and cornmeal. So those are gluten free. So we use that to flour our chicken, our catfish. When we're doing our burgers, we are using a gluten free bread. So it's you know there are ways around it. I don't like to use a lot of processed foods like the breads, but you know people who are gluten intolerant, they want a burger. You know they want macaroni and cheese. So we
Right.
we 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 accommodate the customer. You know, but it's gluten free.
Wow, that's beautiful. And all right, so if I understand what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that oftentimes it's the additives in some of the spices that makes it that produces the gluten.
Correct, like regular table salt and regular sugar.
Hmm. So tell us about some of the your favorite dishes, and tell us what's going on because I know you have the food truck. You were a favorite. You were a sellout at the Taste of Black Chicago a few years ago, and so tell us about some of the food items that people love, and how can people reach you if they want to get something during the week or weekend or whenever.
So right now we are working out of a virtual kitchen space in Avondale. It's located at 3517 North Spalding. And so we pick up and delivery only. At this point, in a couple months, we will be moving into a full service restaurant. So we start construction on that no, sorry, let's say January, June 1st. So customers will be able to come in and dine in and enjoy
Congratulations.
our food. Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited about it. And then some of the major foods that people purchase from us, believe it or not, like we sell a lot. We sell a lot of burgers. I mean, I don't do, I couldn't even tell. We say, because our cheeseburgers are like about this thick. They're super
Yes,
big.
I seen those pictures.
So yeah, so we sell a lot of burgers, and that's for Chaz is gluten free. So last year I started Southern Twang. Southern Twang is sort of a Cajun Creole type of style cuisine where we're doing catfish, we're doing salmon, we're doing greens, we're doing yams, we do lamb chops, and lamb chops is our number one seller. We do a Cajun grilled lamb chop over mashed potatoes and asparagus. So we sell a lot of that as well, and that's also gluten free.
Sounds pretty good. Right. So, and of course, people can do catering as well.
Yes, they came. So right now we're kicking up our food truck season where we are only doing catering, private catering through the food trucks. So right now so I have two food trucks, and one is currently out on the street, and it's just for private catering. And that's pretty much it. So they can contact us directly at bookingchaza@gmail.com to book the food truck.
Man, so obviously there's growth. You've been able to survive the this pandemic, and if you can, just talk a little bit about. I think what some people miss and why they don't achieve their goals. You have obviously the food service aspect that you talk about that you have experience in, but that business management. How important is the business management aspect with allowing you to be able to grow your business?
You know, it's essential because you have to look. So numbers don't lie. You know, so you have to be able to forecast and project what you want to do with your sales, with your business. And then once you're forecasting and projecting, you have to match it up with what you're serving, you know, with your customer service. You have to pay attention to, you know, the trends in the industry. And that's what we paid attention to. Once COVID hit, it was like, well, what's the alternative to not having a food truck, not having dining? It was like pickup and delivery. So let me find a pickup and delivery ghost kitchen where we can go to and make that our mainstream of business. And so once I entered into that platform, because you know, 5 years of business, we've never done pickup and delivery at all. And so once I entered into that platform, it was like, how do I maximize, you know, this opportunity? And so it was just like looking at marketing, different marketing strategies, looking at how social media plays a role with it. You know, doing videos, doing reels. So all these different things, having bloggers come in to make sure that we are at the forefront and relevant. A lot of people during COVID did not stay relevant during the quarantine, you know, and that was the number one thing. I was like, I have to constantly put out content, constantly make myself, you know, visible so that people know that I'm still here and I'm still active. And because of that, we got a lot of work from that because people saw us in social media.
Man, absolutely. I love it. And I definitely, we know, and talk a little bit about the branding as you talk about the marketing, because the truck obviously has been a strong selling point because there are not too many pink trucks out there. And then I don't know anybody else is doing gluten free, right? You have other aspects. You have vegan. You have, you know, different businesses, no pork, no beef. But who was doing gluten free? Nobody. So
Yeah, nobody. So we are the only gluten-free food truck in the Midwest at the current time. You know,
where you
people are
going?
really
Stay on the screen.
surprised this little black girl. Oh, sorry. So people are a little surprised that this little black girl running around here on a food truck, you know, talking about gluten-free. So our truck has made several transitions from being pink, now it's red, and now we're getting ready to remodel the main truck that's branded. Because it was sitting up for a year and it rusted and all types of stuff. So we're coming out with a brand new look for both the trucks, and that's pretty much it. And nobody
tell us about this logo. I love your logo.
The logo is, you know, it's the heart. You know, my company motto is that we cook food with love. And so I wanted to express that in the branding and the marketing, knowing people, letting people know that, you know, we are putting our heart and soul into everything that we make at Chances.
Man, we love it. We appreciate you. And of course, what I love about it is that it's you. I love logos and brands that reflect and have something of the owner in it, whether it's, you know, through some secret message or whether it's the image. And so, man, you've been doing a great job, and we wish you continued success. We can't wait to get over there and experience the restaurant. I remember the pop-up that you did. That was on 47th Street, right? A few years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I saw what you would create in your own space. Just a hint of it, I believe.
We're finally
so I'm
moving
excited.
into our own.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Keep us, of
finally
course.
moving into my own.
Tell people where they can reach you if they want to do the pickup and delivery over on Avondale. How do they get their orders in, and what do they need to be in a certain vicinity in order to do either or?
You know, it's really weird because, you know, initially we thought that people could only do pickup and delivery within a 5-mile radius. But then, like last week, I had several people coming in from delivery drivers going to Hyde Park and to South Shore for delivery. So if they want to place an order, they can place an order directly through our Instagram, which is Chesas, CHESAS.glutenfree. I'm sorry, Chesas.glutenfree. I keep saying gluten. Sorry, I'm tripping. So Chesas.gluten.free. So there's a dot in between the Chesas gluten free. So they can place an order directly through our Instagram.
Okay, beautiful, man. We thank you. We're gonna close out so we can pay a couple of bills, and but man, we appreciate you, Dr. Chesa Rollins, in the building, and we look forward to getting some of that Chicago Southern twang.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna invite you. I want you to come out and participate. We're gonna do a private blogger event, so we're gonna have a bunch of food bloggers there. So I would love to have you. I'll keep you posted on the date and the time.
All right. Well, we in there. We are in there. So we appreciate you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Peace. All right. So, brothers and sisters, man, we're getting ready to close out, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned a few things before we did. And one of them is where we at? Let me do that. Hold on. Let me see. How do we do that? Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me give me a second here in these last few minutes. Nope, there we go. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Now, so brothers and sisters, I want to make sure I didn't mention my people over at Chateau. Mama Chateau has been doing stuff with skincare for black men. So make sure you visit chateau.com and get some information about the variety of skincare products that she has for black men, especially for black men with mustaches and beards. And I wanted to make sure I told you all, we were over at Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream last Friday for the introduction of the Sashta Bean Pie infused ice cream. It is now available. You can go get some, and when you get some, you are supporting a portion of the money is going to go towards the renovation of the home, the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Shout out to our people at Mary Jane Cafe, 7112 South Yates, for creating some incredible food. They got the Chipotle chicken, honey, jerk salmon, the grilled herb, rub lamb, and some great desserts. And then, man, we got to mention our brother has a new Janeth the Poet. Has a great single he has, Call It Freedom. So you can go to my Facebook page and check out that song and enjoy his spoken word and his music. And we definitely want to give some love and recognition to Paul Mooney, who passed on May 19th, which is also the birth anniversary of Minister Malcolm X. So we want to mention all those folks. And we got some other stuff. We'll get to it next week when you see you here on the Touré Muhammad Show. But never forget, brothers and sisters, as long as I have a bowl of bean soup, you've got half. Peace, and watch your back.
WIFTBPM